Today I'm going to talk about something more serious than what I normally do on my channel. I'm not making this video for views. I'm not making this video for pity. I am not making this video like for my benefit. I'm making it for girls or boys who have been in my situation or who are in my situation and they're like lost on what they should do. Because when this happened to me, believe it or not, like I felt lost. I didn't know what to do. I was friends with this boy. We will call him Zach for this video. I was sent to the dean and I was like mad because I was tardy because my friends locked me out of the classroom. I was supposed to go to the dean, but I was like really ticked that like I got sent to the dean for my friends locking me out of the classroom and then being late. Got like near the dean's office and I saw my friend Zach. And I was like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Like, why aren't you in class? And I honestly cannot even remember why he wasn't in class. And then he asked me, like, why aren't you? And I was like, oh, I just got in trouble for being tardy. So I'm supposed to come down here and talk to the dean. And then a detective walks up to us and he's like, where are you guys supposed to be? What are you doing? And I'm like, going to the dean's office actually. So, and then he's like, whatever he was doing. Zach and I started walking. We walked down C hallway because I was like right out of the commons area, and at the school that I went to, the hallways like there was the commons and then like B hallway through E hallway. So we went through C and we were like walking and talking, you know, catching up, dumb stuff, you know. So then there's a stairway at the back of each hallway. And we walk up the back one and we're still talking, and then he was like, oh, there's the class I'm supposed to be in, like once we get upstairs into the C hallway. We look in there and we're like, oh, haha, you're supposed to be in there, cool. And we continue to walk. We get towards the like beginning of C hallway upstairs and he like slaps my butt. I didn't think anything really of it. I didn't take it like sexually because it didn't seem sexual. It's kind of like, you know, like I didn't think it was sexual. I still don't think that was sexual at all. I'm like, all right, well, I think I'm gonna go to the dean. He's like, I'm gonna go that way too. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Cool. So we get into D hallway and I'm thirsty, so I go and get a drink. I was bent over like, and I feel him come behind me. His body was touching mine at this point. Instead of like an ass slap, he like slapped but like held his hand there and kind of groped it, I guess, a little bit. And I was like, like I was so mad. I was like, what the hell? Like, what do you think you're doing? I start walking down D hallway and he's like, Destiny. And he starts whispering my name like, Destiny, Destiny. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck does he want? So I turn around so quick. I turn right back around because I swear to God, when I turned around, he had his penis out. And he was saying things like, come touch it, come get it, like you won't touch it. And I'm like, you fucking bet I won't touch it, like ew. After he did that, like I proceeded walking. I was like, fuck this. He like proceeded to follow me. He was like, Destiny, and I like looked up and he was like in the rail. You can see through the rail. He had his like penis out again and I was like, oh my god, seriously? Like what the fuck? Like what? He was still like, you won't touch it, like I bet you won't touch it. And I'm still like, what the fuck? And so I just start walking down like the second half of the stairs. I'm like tearing up. I was headed to go to the dean's where I should have went to begin with, and I see my best friend and I'm like, yo, this just happened, like I don't know what to do, like I'm hella grossed out, I don't know what to do. She's like, yo, like you need to tell because something similar has happened to me and like I really, like, I should have told somebody. I go into the dean's office and I talk to my dean, like, about why I was down there to begin with. I still didn't want to, like, tell because, like, what do I do? Then I go home. I wanted to tell my mom. She's, like, the one person, like, I felt most comfortable telling. I waited until, like, we had to leave and go and pick one of my sisters up from, like, after school something. Like, so mom, today I got in trouble at school. And she was like, what happened? And blah. And I told her. She, like, was so pissed. She was like, did you tell your dean? Like, no. And she's like, okay, so I'm gonna call her. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. So she calls her and my dean wasn't in the office at the time. I ended up calling her back the next morning. My mom ended up like having to come in with me. So we went in there, and when I got into like my dean's office, the other two deans were in there, and so was the principal, and so was that same detective that was talking to me and my friend the day before, and they asked me for the story. Like, the detective was writing it all down because presses were being charged, and my dean was like testing me, why didn't you tell me this happened? I was like, I don't know, I didn't know what to do. And she's like, it's okay, it's gonna be taken care of. After I gave them my story, they were like, all right, we're going to check the camera, like the video footage, we're gonna take your story, we're gonna, you know, make sure everything matches up. Obviously I wasn't lying, but they wanted to make sure because, you know, there are some like dumb broads out there who do lie about boys doing stuff like this, or sometimes girls. Like, my mom ends up leaving and they're like, all right, you're free to go to class. And then like 2 periods after that, his friends were giving me the dirtiest looks. He had got expelled that same day, and I was like, what the fuck, like, bye. The next day, his friends were still giving me dirty ass looks. The detective had told me the day before, all right, well, he has a lot of friends who go here, they are mad, and he's like, so you let me know if they say anything to you, if they make any threats whatsoever, you let me know. And I was like, okay. The next day, I was sitting like alone this day. I don't know why, like I'm alone or whatever. Here comes 3 of his friends. They all like give me dirty ass looks, and then one of them was like, bitch, you're lucky I don't whoop your ass. Okay, you are a dude. Do you really think that I don't have a brother? A week goes by and his mom comes to my house. Okay, first of all, I didn't even know it was his mom. I head out the door and I'm like, hey mom. Like, I just make up some dumb excuse to like be like, hi mom, like what are you doing, who are you talking to? And then the lady's like, hey, come here. And I'm like, what? And my mom's like, no, go inside. I'm like, what? She's like, hi, I'm Will's mom. And I'm like, thrown. I am thrown. And she's like, hey, could you just tell me what happened that day? Let's get this resolved. We don't have to take it to court, you know, we can get this resolved right here, you know, you don't have to press charges. So I tell her the story that happened, and she's like writing it down. Like, she literally has a clipboard and a pen, and she's like taking notes, and I'm like, alright. She ends up leaving. She's like, well, thank you for talking to me and being nice. So the detective is like, okay, since we're going to court, we are going to have to interrogate you. You're gonna have to come down to the police station. So yeah, he interrogated me. I told him my story, and he was like, you did good. The next time you're gonna tell this is in front of the judge. This happened in May, and the court date was July 3rd. I ended up going to court. There were so many people in there. I was hoping everyone else's cases would be like called up before mine. Literally, once I got in there, they were like, Destiny versus, and I was like, oh my god. Literally, I just got chills right now. That's what happened in real life. I go up to the table thing, and I'm sitting there. They are like, tell me what happened that day. And I did tell what happened. They call for any witnesses, and detective was like, I saw them in the hallway that same day. We checked the surveillance cameras in the hallways, and literally her story matches up perfectly. And it was so ignorant. They gave Zach a chance to like defend himself, and he was like, she's lying. Okay. The judge is like, okay, well, I'm not gonna tolerate that kind of behavior anyways. And he's like, you're already on probation. You've already violated your probation. You're on house arrest. You were smoking weed on probation and house arrest. Like, no. And he was like, you're going to prison for 4 years. I was feeling so like many emotions, honestly. I felt so bad. I shouldn't have felt bad, like, looking back on it. He did that to me. It was his fault he was getting a sentence that long. You violated your probation and your house arrest and all of that other stuff. And then on top of that, you want to sexually harass me. Thank you for watching this video. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, like, that was the whole purpose of it. I'm glad I was able to share my story to help you. If anything like this, similar, worse, not as bad, but tell someone, honestly. It will feel so much better. At the time, it might feel like scary and weird. You might feel disgusted with yourself. But honestly, the right thing to do is to definitely let an adult know. If you guys ever have a problem, I am always here. You can talk to me on Twitter, or you can DM me on Instagram. You can message me on YouTube. So keep that in mind.